Hello, my name is Matt Rogers, and today we're talking about a tool called Edmodo. Edmodo is a learning management system, or LMS. An LMS is a course management system that keeps all of your files and online activity in one easy-to-use and access place. We'll talk about how that really helps us in Edmodo in a little bit. To get started, you have to sign in, and as you can see in the screen, if you don't have an account, you can use your email address and add a password to sign up. If you're a student or parent, you'll be given a code to access your account. And if you already have an account, you can click log in, and that'll take you to your site. When you get signed in, you'll get to a page that looks fairly similar to this. It kind of looks like Facebook, which has two advantages. First off, it's laid out very similarly, so people who have used Facebook or other similar social medias are fairly familiar with the activities on this page. You have your home button up top, your progress, discover, and library, and we'll talk about those in a little bit, alerts and accounts. So that's kind of set up similarly to Facebook. The other reason why it's kind of an advantage to be set up this way is it's appealing and the students really like to use it. So we'll talk about how it works now. Along the side, you have your groups and communities. When you first start, you'll have to build these things. Groups are things that you create yourself. For instance, I have my Mr. Rogers class, and that's going to be the class that I use to keep all of my student information this upcoming year. I also have my I Teach Creativity group, and this is a group that I created to keep professional development for technology all in one place. In addition, as a teacher, I can subscribe to communities, such as computer technology, language arts, math, professional development, and there's many of topics on top of that. Down the middle, you'll have what's kind of similar to our news feed in Facebook. You can add certain things like notes, alerts, assignments, quizzes, polls, and snapshots. This is pretty cool. When you type in a note, what you do is you add the note, so I'll just use test, and then you choose the group that you want to go to. For instance, if I wanted to go to my PV I Teach Creativity group, I type that in. I can add files, links, go to my library, which we'll look at in a second, or schedule a message to come out at a certain time. When I hit send, it'll go out to that group that should have it. So as you can see here in our newsfeed, it's automatically updated. And in the PV I Teach Creativity group, when I go into that, you'll see my test message. I'm going to click home to go back there. What's really neat about this page is when you're here, you can filter posts by, say you're looking for certain alerts or assignments, feeds, polls, quizzes, or just the latest posts, which is usually the default. And to add all those is right up here. When you click in the specific groups, that's where things start to get interesting. You'll add different classes or groups in this page. So, for instance, you can see my small groups. I have a parent group for communication, CA, math, science, and social studies. What you do is you give this code to the students. When you get this code, the students will type it in and they'll have automatic enrollment into the class. Pretty cool. It'll kind of lead them through how to get set up. That way, when they sign in, you can add them to the different groups that they belong in. For instance, if I click on the CA group, we'll have a different code as from the math group. And you can kind of separate it from there, which is really neat. Under the progress bar, you can click on the different pages, and this will kind of act as your grade book. You can check to see who has completed the activities you've posted, or you can assign badges for motivation or incentives of creating different activities, or add reactions. Every time that a student completes an activity, they have to give a reaction. So it's automatic feedback to whether or not they felt really comfortable with an activity, were confused, or really didn't like it. Under the Discover toolbar, this is where you can gather different senses of professional development or extend your PLN. In here you have communities and publishers you can join and add. Also, you can add different paid for groups. These provide different materials that you can send out to your students. So while this is $3, you can then send this out to your small groups and they will have access to work through it. Pretty cool opportunity for them to do everything all in one place. And finally, you'll have your library, and this is probably the most helpful resource for teachers. In the library items, you create different activities. You can either create them within Edmodo, you can upload them, or you can pull them from your Google Drive. And they'll all be right here. And when you click on an activity, it'll take you to that location. So, if I wanted to add this to something that I was working on, I could add it to a folder, and then it would then become available for my students or my parents or my teachers. Pretty cool access. Anytime that someone has completed or sent a message, it shows up in your notifications right up here, and it'll list all of those different items that have shown up. And finally, in the accounts, you have get started, you can change certain things in your profile settings, or get your help or log out. Pretty basic. This is your basic overview of Edmodo. It is really neat, and there's so many features. Once you've built up your groups and added students, you can send out group codes to the parents. That means that there's certain things that the parents are able to access at home. They'll be able to see the posts that their student makes, along with the grades that they've completed within the class. They also have direct communication that's available between them and the parents, them and the teachers. This is a really helpful thing to keep the communication flowing between the teacher and parents without having to send out individual emails or make a ton of phone calls. I hope you enjoyed this introduction into Edmodo, and it's a great tool, so you should really use it.